Shalom Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the honor city apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you elect men doing this work in truth and sincerity. I was looking at Al Jazeera, right? It's a few weeks old. Hispanic migrants back to square one, and this is in Al Jazeera. All right, now here you can see, the MS-13s, the Salvadorians, being locked up because in this video they basically talk about how under the Donald Trump, he's forcing a lot of migrants, so-called migrants, out of the U.S. Which this one is talks mainly about the Salvadorians. Now we know this is scriptural, man. President Trump coming down, coming down on you, Jakes, is scriptural, man. All right, and then basically we in hell, man. And the reason why the Most High put us in hell is because basically we in time out because we done messed up and we done went against him, man. So I'm just get a few precepts, on, the Most High, how basically Donald Trump, sweeping a lot of you so-called Salvadorians out of America is prophecy, man. This is Deuteronomy 28:49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth, a nation also whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And we know our first encounter of this so-called white man was during the time of Columbus, man, when the Spaniards basically came over here to colonize America. They came they said they came over here for gold and stuff, but they came over here to basically colonize America. And then they seen our people, the northern, are you so-called Hispanics and you Native American Indians, and they enslaved you. All right, this is why majority of our people speak Spanish. All right, so that the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from the end of the earth as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And when you all watch that movie, I believe it's 1492 on I forgot how it's the Christopher Columbus movie, 1492 Rise of Conquest, and that the name alone tells you, that other nation, which is the Spaniards, came against our people, which were speaking in broken Hebrew. And a part of the movie that I will never forget is when all hell broke loose, and basically the natives, the so-called, Hispanics over here at the time, or the natives rather, was revolting against Christopher Columbus. One of the natives that knew how to speak English, he learned how to speak English. He told Christopher Columbus that I learned how to speak your language, but you never learn how to speak mine. And that's so-called, that's a devil for you, man. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young, man. And when you get into it, he did it, man. All right, cutting, cutting out women, cutting the women's belly open, and allowing for the baby to come out. Raping a woman, setting the men on fire. All types of atrocities to our people, man. Bringing them back on boats. A lot of them dying off, from the diseases and stuff that they would catch. Nor show favor to the young, because our people at the time, they was very, very nice, man. Bartholomew de las Casas even said that, that he has never seen, a group of benign people in his life, man. He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed. And that's what Esau is doing this day, man. All right, here it is. Jake come over here to try to make a better life, which when you get into history, this place was technically, it was technically, they put, a lot of so-called Mexicans and Salvadorians is over there in California, which that was, technically a that was technically called, province of New Spain. But then after, I believe, the Mexican Spanish War, Mexico took that over, and then basically after that, after the Mexican American War, America took that over, man. But all in all, that was, what I'm saying, this was Issachar, was the so-called Mexicans' land first. And under Issachar, falls Zebulon as well, man, because they dwell here together, which Zebulon is the Salvadorians. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed. Like I said, our people was fighting since day one, man. You know, from the time of Christopher Columbus, all right, and and then Mexico had to basically fight against Spain, and then Mexico had to fight against Spain, and then they had to fight against America, in which they lost that war, in the Mexican American War, and they lost a lot of territory. It says I had actually got this site right here, right? It's on Wikipedia. You see. This part right here. Slocky. I think it went back. The 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ended the war and specified its major consequence, the Mexican secession of the territories of Alta California, which is basically the upper part of California, and Santa Fe de Nueva Mexico, to the United States. The U.S. agreed to pay $15 million compensation for the physical damage of the war. In addition, the United States assumed $3.25 million of debt owed by the Mexican government of U.S. citizens. Mexico acknowledged the loss of Texas and thereafter cited the Rio Grande as its national border with the United States. The territorial expansion of the United States toward the Pacific coast had been the goal of the U.S. President James K. Polk, the leader of the Democratic Party. At first, it was highly controversial in the United States. Well, this is the territorial expansion of the United States toward the Pacific coast. Now, when you look up what's the Pacific coast, we know that's like, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. The coastline states of California, Oregon, Washington, over that way. So at first this was their land, man. But as I said, that's the curses, man. Our people, being that they went off, the Most High, I put us under subjection, man. Even still to this day, like I said, you have a lot of Mexicans, so-called Mexicans, Salvadorans, Guatemalans, and stuff that's over here illegal, or so-called illegal. Why? All right, because this is their land. But the Most High put us under the so-called white man. All right, which also shall not lead thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kin, or flock, or thy sheep, until he had destroyed thee. All right, like I said, you got a lot of northern, even over here where I live at, a lot of northern, they got their own landscaping business. They doing pretty good for themselves, man. But Esau don't give a shit. All right, if if you're not a so-called citizen of this place, then he gonna deport your ass, man, and take away all that you have, man, even your family. A lot of times. 52, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high fence walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. And like they say, history repeats itself. All right, back in 70 A.D. and now, man, in different parts in history, man. Different parts in history, man. The Assyrians took us down. Different, you know what I'm saying? The Babylonians, different parts in history, man. When the Egyptians took us down, they besieged us, man. This is Job chapter 20, verse 19. Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he builded not. And he's taking you so-called northern tribes out of your houses, man. from your loved ones, all right, from your businesses that you built, man. All right, and so like I said, we are in captivity, man, from um Israel. I mean, from Judah, which is still called blacks, Haitians and West Indians, to you so-called Hispanics, man, and Native American Indians and the Seminole Indians. The scriptures say a thief coming out but to steal, to kill, and destroy. All right, but it's up to you, what I'm saying, to get your act together. All right, because if you don't, all right, you're just gonna continue to be destroyed, man. This is Hosea chapter 2, verse 2. Plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts. You know what? I'm gonna skip to, for the sake of time, right? I'm gonna skip to, just get right to the point. Let me see. Let me see. I think this is. I'm gonna skip to Hosea 5:15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense. Which, what I'm saying, their offense is going after other gods, man. Whether you're Mexican or Guatemalan. Speaking of, what I'm saying, so-called Mexicans or so-called Guatemalans, when you look in that movie Apocalypto, the Mayans, they had a god called Kukulkan, which basically, it was nothing but sun worshiping, man. All types of wickedness, man. All right, killing their brother, man, to worship, what I'm saying, to offer, what I'm saying, their brother to their god, man. You know, and even today, what they got this Catholicism that they Slovakia, they got this Catholicism that they worship. You know what I'm saying? Worshiping the Virgin Mary, the Day of Dead. Iskar got I believe Dia de la Muerte, which is the Day of the Dead, and so on and so forth, man. Zebulon got the MS-13s. All right, doing all types of wickedness, man. All right, so like I said, until you acknowledge your offense, all right, which only the elect of you will, the rest of you are just gonna be destroyed. So with that, I pray brothers edified. Shalom, Israel.